the question that comes up. Who did you like more, Guns N' Roses or Nirvana? I like Guns N' Roses a tons more.
Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 524. My name is Brando. Welcome to the podcast from Helloween, Mr. Michael Kiske. How are you, sir?
I was just thinking the title of your show. I just bought a special edition of Appetite for Destruction. It's a surround mix, remixed, remastered version of the record.
Wow, okay.
Has nothing to do with Helloween or anything else, but I just had it in my head, like Appetite for Distortion.
No, it has everything to do with Halloween.
I see Guns N' Roses back there, right? Yeah. Great record.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Halloween, and because you guys just jump right into it, because Keeper of the Seven Keys, same year as Appetite.
And we played with them. We played with them over here in Europe. I remember Donington.
Mm-hmm.
It was right before they took off in terms of success. In America, it started a little earlier, and then Europe followed, but they were not that high on the list. I think they. I don't remember where they played compared to us. I know David Lee Roth was there.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden, of course, was headlining.
Mm-hmm.
I also remember backstage, Lars Ulrich was always in our dressing room, which was cool. He was always very sweet, like a very nice guy. And I remember, and I don't know what was going on, but Axl was running away from a British policeman, saying "fuck, fuck, fuck, fuck." I don't remember what was the case. Maybe he brought him to some place to show him something that he was unhappy with or something, and I have a completely different idea of what it was, but it's stuck in my head, having Axl running away, a policeman runs behind him, and he says, fuck, 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 fuck.
That's a great memory. That's really funny. 40 years, and I was going to bring this up later, but it's so cool that we're just jumping right into it, because you're a fan. You bought the album. So I want to credit one of my listeners who was actually excited to have you talk to us today, Jonathan from Michigan. Because you gave a little bit of it of Donington and meeting Axl. Was there any? Because obviously you can't bring up Donington without talking about loss of life of those two young kids.
Oh yeah, you didn't know about that while it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think it happened when David Lee Roth was playing or something. I think.
I think it was when, even though Axl tried to stop the crowd and said, I think it would happen during their set, and they also didn't know, and they were all like,
they didn't have what they have today is they have these barriers so that the masses don't push forward and squeeze the ones which should be logic anyway. But obviously that wasn't a problem until then. And since then they do that. They have these barriers that stop the certain rows from moving forward, stuff like that. But it's like when it happened, nobody knew what happened. Nobody knew about it. It's like backstage there was just no talking about it. I just remember that I watched a bit of the show from David Lee Roth from the side, and I remember that a person went on jumped on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just saying, "What are you doing on my stage?" And I think it had to do with someone trying to inform someone that things are happening down there. Yeah, horrible. But as I said, he didn't know. He heard that afterwards when the whole thing was over.
You were so young at the time. I mean, now we're flashing forward 40 years, but that's something that can really derail you as an artist. Like, do you remember as just being that age, like, wow, we're just here to perform. This can actually happen. Did that mess with you and the band at the time?
It didn't happen when we played, which is good, because you always, I would guess you feel a little guilty.
Sure.
When it happens when you play. I mean, it is dramatic, but very often you have that something like this has to happen so that certain stuff changes. So it's like you take more security methods or whatever to make sure. Very often something has to go really bad until something gets changed.
You're right, and that is sad. And the first thing that popped into my other than the concerts is like sporting events.
Yeah,
It was like a few years ago, a little girl got killed by a puck, and now they have netting all around the arena.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it sucks that it takes
You
that
don't
to
think
happen,
about it
but you
until
don't
it
know.
happens. You don't
Right.
think about it until it happens, and usually it costs money. So people want to do only what's necessary,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, some of the things you could foresee that something like this could happen, but it's like, yeah, but that's usually how progress happens. That something goes wrong and then you improve.
Well, let's talk about progress. I didn't expect to go too dark so quickly
Well,
in
I
the
have
interview.
great memories about Donington. I have great memories about the show. It was not just that thing that happened there. I mean, behind the stage, it was awesome. It's great fun. I met even Lemmy was there.
Mm,
And he didn't play, but he was there, and he was nice. He was funny and stuff.
mm.
So I have good memories about it. Of course,
Despite, yeah, of course.
to that horrible thing. But as I said, we didn't know. We didn't know during the time that we were there.
Yeah, it's a different time, and obviously, I'm glad things changed. And whenever it does come up in conversations, I just want to, bring up
Everybody remembers that. Everybody connects that event with the that thing with the two people dying.
I know. But to kind of shift gear, because we're obviously going to talk about new Helloween, 40 years into this Giants and Monsters. But while we're on it, with you being your first album, being with the Keeper of the Seven Keys, and Appetite coming out at the same time, different, obviously in the same rock world, but different. So,
Very
what did
different.
you think of Appetite when it came out? And obviously, you're still such a fan that you just got a reissue. So, what did you
I
think of
really
Guns N'
loved it.
Roses?
I mean, the first time that I heard "Sweet Child of Mine," I was like, "Wow!" Because the songs they had, especially on that record, they were like world class. This type of songs that you remember from the Stones. Like it had that quality, just as the songwriting quality, and then the voice of Axel was unique. It sounded very different, and no, I was really really excited about it. I really liked them right from the start. I was never much into Nirvana, to be honest with you, because that's always the question that comes up.
Mm,
Who did you like more, Guns N' Roses or Nirvana? I like Guns N' Roses a tons more. It's like I understood Nirvana later on a bit better, but it was not my cup of tea. I even like the Foo Fighters better,
mm.
than Nirvana. But Guns N' Roses was my thing totally. I still play Slash licks, and I have his amp, his Slash AFD 100 there and stuff.
Oh, see, that's so cool. See, this is all what I do here. I call it a 6 degrees of GNR bacon. That's why I named it Appetite for Distortion. I mean, everyone and their mother is a podcast. There's so many rock podcasts out there, but here, going through life through guns and rose-colored glasses, and we have a connection right now to
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah, yeah.
So I just think that's brilliant, and to find out that you're, you
You
know,
find things out like that
right.
unexpectedly. I just seen an interview from Lars Ulrich where he says how much of a fan of Oasis he is.
Okay.
He's been to two concerts of Oasis because they have a reunion tour going down. I never thought that Lars Ulrich would be into Oasis, but he was into it right from the start.
Mm.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I
I
didn't.
guess it doesn't surprise me because he seems like I can see it, but it was something I definitely wouldn't have thought of
Oh,
right
he's
off the
really
bat.
into it. I mean, you could tell by he really informed. He knows the history and stuff like that. I mean, I am into, always have been into all types of music. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, it goes from classical music to Barbara Streisand, Kate Bush, metal, Elvis, Beatles. I was listening to everything that got something for me. I was
That
never.
in a box.
Yeah.
I love that. And just to stay in Lars for a second, I guess I'm not surprised because a few years ago when my wife and I would travel to Austin, Texas for Austin City Limits to see Guns N' Roses, Mumford and Sons also played, and Lars came out to play with them. It's like Lars and Mumford had it
Yeah.
happened, so it's crazy. Uh,
Yeah, and they didn't have such a good history. They had this thing with the Hatfield being burned and Axel not wanting on stage. So over here in Europe, they completely destroyed the arena and stuff like that. So it's good when they. I mean, I understood right. Yeah, Lars got on the stage with Guns N' Roses.
yeah, that's happened. Lars has been friends with them. I think the big
Oh,
what we thought was animosity was between Axel and James, but
I
we
see.
saw at back to the beginning, and Axel posted a picture of him talking to James. So at least
I
they're
think they settled it, didn't they?
I'm sure they did. I mean, I don't think it wasn't either of their faults. It wasn't like Axel said cause a riot, and it wasn't like Axel
No, the
told him.
thing with Axel is I didn't know that for many years, but I don't know where I read it, where it was. It was not arrogance. He was nervous.
Yes.
He was
Yes.
nervous. He was fighting with being stage fright, and that
Mhm.
gives this whole thing a completely different quality. It's much more understandable, you know?
That's very cool to hear you say that because it's one thing coming from a fan, but from a peer who's been doing it for as long as he has, yes, that's exactly what I've heard from people who have worked with him, and
Yeah,
so
when you look at
we
where he
see that.
came from, you know, his family kind of stuff. There's a lot of individual problems involved, you know, a lot of and which gives the quality in
Mhm.
performance, you know, it's very often like that you have people who had like some kind of like bad childhoods or something that is dramatic in their lives and but it expresses in the music that they do as some kind of it gives it intensity, it gives it soul, it gives it pain, even, you know?
You're saying it. Everything you're saying, I agree with in lockstep. And again, it's one thing coming from a fan, but to hear it from a peer of his, someone who is accomplished as you are, is it gives it a whole other meaning because you know it. You live that. You continue to live that life, so you completely get it.
Also, when you
So
get older, you tend to understand a lot of things way more. You
yeah.
just understand humans more because you try to understand people more out of the circumstances, out of where they're
Mhm.
coming from. You know, this is more quality when you get older. You know that you are more able to understand and tolerate and be more understanding with others.
Brilliant. I love it, man. I can talk to you all day, Michael. But I mean, the fact that I didn't expect to, because yeah, I know this is a Guns N' Roses themed podcast, but I usually like leave it toward the end. But you right away, as a fan, I don't want to leave you without even talking about Halloween. So with all this knowledge, with all this, insight and maturity, is this what you feel you brought to this new Halloween record, Giants and Monsters, coming out August
I mean,
29th,
we
or is
had
it just traditional? Like, what was the approach to making this album?
it always just reflects where we are as a band. Very simple. I had a pretty wild history with this band too. You know, getting out of the band in early '94 and not being part of it for over 20 years, not even wanting to have anything to do, and then slowly getting back and then making peace again with Waikiki, who I had the most beef with, and then slowly we got into doing this again, and then this thing is even more successful than it ever was before, which nobody expected. It's amazing. I mean, these are the stories only life can write, you know.
Hmm.
But the album just reflects where we are now as a band. I mean, to give you an idea, they wrote something like 30 songs, and
Hmm.
we selected something like 20 to work with, and then out of that the album came, but the next one is already written, so to speak,
Oh
because
wow.
the band is so creative. It was quite impressive the material that came together. It was
It,
not difficult at all. It was like
that's good. That's what you want to hear because that comes through the music, and that's what we got a little bit of a taste of with
yeah.
"This Is Tokyo," the video, a love letter, right, to Tokyo. And I wish I could say I've been,
Oh,
but it
you
makes
should
me
go
feel
there.
like it's
Go
my
there.
wife is a traveler. I'm sure I'll end up going there someday. I'm a hermit,
Japan
but
is
she makes me
different.
travel.
Japan is very different in a good way. I mean, they're hard on themselves, which is not so good. I mean, they're
Which is
really,
I'm that
really,
way.
really very tough working environments and stuff like that. But as a visitor, it's just great. They're just very trustworthy, whatever they say they are going to do when you tour there, it's going to happen. They're very honest. It's like I don't know if that would happen in New York when you're in down on like an underground train situation and you lose your wallet. Usually it would be gone. In Japan, they bring it to you.
Sure, I can. Yeah.
This is the difference in Japan is that women can go jogging at nighttime on their own in the park and nothing's gonna happen. Okay?
Mm.
Nothing's gonna happen. And if ever something happens, it's a nationwide scandal. Okay? It's like Japan is very different. It's totally worth going there. It's like it's an experience.
I recently just interviewed Kelly Schaefer from Atheist, and he was talking about some of the audiences over there, and they're very respectful, and they'll maybe like cross their arms and they'll watch you, and they sometimes like they have to wait for you to instruct them when to go crazy into mosh. Is
That's
that
how
your
I
experience?
that's how it used to be in the 80s.
Okay.
But that's not how it is anymore. At least for us. That's not, I mean, I've been there with Unisonic, with Avantasia, and with Helloween, like in my second spring phase,
Mm.
and it was wild. I mean, it was really passionate. It used to be exactly like you said. It used to be weird. It's like when we went there, like in '87, it was really like they were listening to. They were sitting down. They were listening to the song. When the song was over, they were clapping. And then when you were talking, it was silent, dead silent. And they couldn't even stand up. There were security people making sure that they don't stand up.
Oh
But
wow.
that's not like it is anymore. I think it's a real rock show now. Maybe the person who told you that hasn't been there for a while.
Okay. Maybe, or just like his experiences are different because
I
he's
don't know
like,
what kind of music they do, but what we do with Halloween or Unisonic or Avantasia, it was wild. It was like, and the energy was almost like South America.
mm.
I'm not kidding. It was like it has changed big time compared to the 80s.
So I guess comparing the '80s into today, it's I can't believe the '80s. It just sound it's got every day goes further and further away. The good old '80s. 40 years of Halloween. Does that even dawn on you that it's been? I know you've been in and out of the band, but the fact that this entity, one of the coolest names in rock, by the way, forever. Obviously I love Guns N' Roses, the name, but Halloween, so simplistic, so obvious, and so brilliant. But 40
Yeah, it's
years of
funny that
Halloween.
you say that because like when the I mean I wasn't there when the band
I know, right?
chose the name. That was before my time. And
Mhm.
they changed the A to the E, not so much for hell, more for being different to the movie. And there were two other Halloween bands. There's one in Detroit and there was another one in Italy.
I
So
didn't
that
know that.
so that we were different, they choose the E. Okay. But the thing I remember that there was a festival we played in the 80s, and Gene Simmons said that we will never be successful with that name. Because for an American, it's like you call yourself Christmas. It's like it's a holiday. Um, but by the time the band chose this name, the Halloween holiday that you got in America didn't exist in Europe. Nobody knew what it was. So it was kind of
Oh.
cool for a German band to sound like this. Now people know. People. It happens here now as well. Trick or treat and all that stuff. It has jumped over, but it worked. We made it cool. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah,
thing. You
yeah.
gotta make it cool. I mean, there's a band called Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Come on.
I know. I don't know if they're still around, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
But you guys are. And you know what? It ties in the whole conversation a bit from where we started. We're talking about Donington and some of the bands that played, and now we're talking about 40 years of playing.
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine just announced in Megadeth their retirement, their farewell album and tour. I'm just because they played Donington as well. Just curious of your reaction, and is that something that you could ever foresee for yourself or Halloween? Is a retirement?
Of course, it depends on how things are going. I'm still, I mean, I started quite young. We were like the later generation. I mean, Iron Maiden was already big and touring when I was still in school. I
Hmm.
think I'm about 10 years younger than Bruce or something like that. So we got a bit more air coming to the granny age. Um, but it's gonna come. I think it depends on if you feel like you can still do it. If you can, my voice is still fine, you know,
Hmm.
and as long as I can pull it off, and I enjoy it, and it is, and we don't overdo it. I mean, honestly, we just don't overdo it. We just took 2 years off. We didn't. We had the last show in 23, November 23, in
Right.
Mexico festival, and we play again in October doing the European tour. So we're not killing ourselves. We're not overdoing it, and it keeps it fresh, keeps it exciting. You know what I mean? And I think we're going to continue like that. We just don't tour ourselves to death. We just do what is fun, and to keep mentally intact. We just don't want to burn out. So I didn't. I mean, over 20 years not being in the band is quite a long time. It's like I did like 7 years or 8 years or something like that, and then was over 20 years out. And now it's 8 years since the union, but we had a pandemic that cut off 3 years. We took 2 years off. So it's like really like 3 or 4 years that we have been active. We toured at the end of 2017 and 18. Then in 19, we wanted to make a record, but we jumped because we've been asked by this, was it the Scorpions? I don't remember. It was when Dave got sick from Megadeth.
Hmm.
We're asked if we wanted to jump on the tour. I know it was White Snake and probably the Scorpion. It was a White Snake, Deep Purple, I think it was. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And we jumped in the slot that Megadeth was supposed to do. So that was the only thing we did in 2019. Then you had the pandemic. And then we toured a little bit in 22 and 23, and that's it. So it's not an overkill or anything like that. And for me, I didn't. I mean, I did the least amount of touring of anyone in this band.
Yeah, so you don't have as much mileage, I guess, as the 40 years may seem.
Yeah.
What do you do as far as keeping other than
And
resting and
I
not
and I
killing?
joined the band later.
Right.
They started in I think '84.
Yes.
And I got active with them. I joined the band in '86, and we started touring '87. So it's like, to me, it's more fresh. It's like the Waiki, Kai, Marcus. They're the ones who have been there from the beginning.
Sure, but you are an integral part of the story. Whether you're there from the beginning or not. I mean, that first record you made with them is again one
That
of
was
the.
the biggest success. That's true. I mean, it jumped from 100,000 to a few million. It's like with the keeper
Yeah. So I know you weren't there from the beginning, but don't diminish your role. Certainly.
It was a bit like with Iron Maiden. When they started with Paul Dayano, and
Right.
when Bruce joined the club, that's when they really got big.
That's sometimes what it takes.
Yeah.
And this is where we're at with Giants and Monsters coming out on the 29th. So cool. Just one last question I want to ask because I had been battling some throat issues myself. Other
Yeah.
than rest, what do you do to take care of your throat, your voice?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
The thing is,
Not
the
even a
less
cough drop.
you just have to watch yourself in a way that you don't overdo things or you don't stress out your voice. That's what I'm always saying. It's like when you rehearse with your band, for instance, and they rehearse like maybe 2-3 hours, you should still be able afterwards to talk and sound normal. Then you're doing okay. It shouldn't hurt, and you should figure out a way to do it that it doesn't violate your voice, it doesn't hurt your voice, and then you should be fine. I mean, I don't even have to warm up much anymore. I used to do that when we started again, like in 2010, when I first started again to even go on a stage and do this again. I was warming up like for an hour
Mm.
before the show. I figured I don't need it. I sing one Elvis tune, that's it, and then
What Elvis tune is your
oh,
go-to?
I mean, for warming up, stuff like "Can't Help Falling in Love" or patch it up, all that stuff is great to warm up the voices. I mean, I have a whole bunch of songs that I love to sing to warm up.
I got
What is
you.
that?
That's my Harrison. Harrison, do you want to say hi to Michael from Helloween? Come here, buddy. He just said hello. Did you hear that? He's got his man bun.
Ah, hello.
Say hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael. Ah,
Say rock on. Say I like Halloween.
She uses the microphone as if she's looking like, I don't know
I
what you
know.
call it. The stuff you look at the stars.
Telescope
Yeah, exactly.
or yeah, periscope. By the way, he just has he's long hair.
Oh, okay, he's metal.
Yes, he's a rock and roll baby. He was
Yeah.
born with a mohawk, and we just haven't cut it since.
Okay.
Essentially. All right, so I think he's telling me to
I thought
go
because of the hair.
because he's
Yeah,
eating the microphone. Michael, I mean,
yeah,
this really was a
he's
pleasure.
looking into it, and what is he seeing?
What do you see? This isn't a kaleidoscope, buddy. What do you see?
The future.
Okay. One day he's gonna be my co-host when he can talk. See, I need to use this microphone. Why
I
you
know what the microphone is. It's an electro voice.
do you see your
I think
voice over there?
Electro voice RE20, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, it is. All right, say bye. Say
Bye.
Michael, thank you so much for your time. I hope we get to do this again.
It was good fun. And I
So that
actually once met /2. It
oh,
wasn't a conversation, just a brief hi, how you doing and stuff. It was actually when Ozzy did Ozzy and Friends.
okay.
It was
I
a
remember that.
festival, and Unisonic was playing there, and we were just asking the management of Ozzy if we can watch the show. We got like passes so that we were able to watch the show from the side of the stage. So that was my experience with Ozzy. That it was like really unproblematic, you know.
Mm, yeah, no, that Ozzy and Friends thing. Yeah, no, that's special. No, that's cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate your Guns N' Roses stories, talking about Donington and just talking about the history of Halloween. And I hope you don't stop, man, because we
Not yet.
mentioned Megadeth and Whitesnake, and a lot of these bands are ending. So keep doing it.
Halford has announced his retirement.
What? I think it did. Maybe did that happen just today?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's a hoax, unless it's not true. But I read
Well,
that he announced that he is gonna retire. I think they're gonna do like a farewell tour next year or something.
see, we're losing our legends, man. So stick around as long as you can, Michael.
We'll try.
So that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. When will you see the next one? In the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, I don't know if soon is the word, but you'll see it. Bye, Harrison.
Thanks to the lame ass security, I'm going home.